Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch. This is a box we're going to open today with a bunch of Silver Age keys I've had in this box for about 20 years. Our first book here is Namer number 1, drawn by John Buscema. The torso on the bottom looks a little bit too short. My guess is after he drew it, he figured out that maybe it's too close to the border and he had to make it fit. I didn't want to be too close to the touching the edge here either. This was one of the Marvel Premiere 1968 big premiere issues. The next one is Iron Man number 1. Both of these Submariner and Iron Man came right after the Iron Man and Submariner special. This one I believe I paid $180 for, and it's about in 8.0 shape. This is another copy I have, a little lesser gray, probably maybe in 7.5 at the best. So it got some sharp colors. I actually have a third issue somewhere. I think it's in a box with a run I have. 1958, first appearance of Bizarro. Another copy. I also have a third copy that's coverless. Green Lantern number 1. I have several copies of these. The price guide right there, the 2000 price guide, valued a near mint copy at $2,800, but I don't really think you can get those kind of prices. I think 2.0 was $200, so I probably paid, I bet, around $100 for this issue, and I have another one I paid about roughly the same price. I have some other issues that I've purchased within the past 3-4 years. One of them was not in that great shape, and I actually paid a lot more. That one I kind of regret. But I also have a coverless one that has a back cover but not the front cover. Okay, and this one, back in the 2000s, I bought these books around the year 2000. On this particular one, the seller was honest and said there was color touch on it. Back in 2000, the early days of eBay, before digital cameras were prevalent, you just had to trust the seller's reputation as well as the description. And if anyone had a camera, I had a digital camera, and I can tell you the resolution was not that great. Posting pics on it would help, but not much. You couldn't see, like, creases and flaws like you would with today's camera. So the last book that was in this box, I've had in this box for 20 years, is a Daredevil number 1. When I bought it, I recognized immediately that it's something that wasn't right. It was too glossy, and it looked a little bit smaller. It's actually trimmed at least on the right side, maybe on the top and bottom. I think it's about okay shape. If I compare it to this Iron Man's from 1968, so that might not be a fair comparison. The Daredevil was from 1964. It looks like it might be not trimmed on the top and bottom, but for sure it is on the right. I paid $767 for it in May of 2000. The price guide there has it in very fine condition for $850. So I paid a fair price for this because you had to buy it without seeing the book. It was most of the auctions were by description. So I paid a fair price for it, but unfortunately it was restored, especially trimmed too. When I emailed the seller, they said that the restoration wasn't done by them. Back in the good old days of eBay, the only resolution you had was to work directly with the seller to resolve your issues. So if they didn't want to work with you, if it's damaged in the mail, lost in the mail, overgraded, missing pages or missing anything, you really didn't have any recourse. eBay didn't protect you. It was you and the seller had to work together. So in this case, the seller sold me a restored book, and probably didn't want to refund my money. If someone's going to sell you something that's obviously restored, when I say obviously, sometimes you might not catch a slight restoration like a color touch, but if someone's dishonest, they're probably most likely not going to work with you. And in the price guide that I have there, there's an article because internet sales, eBay sales specifically, were becoming pretty big, and one of the things, one of the key phrases was buyer beware, and I found that to be very true back in 2000. People overgraded, so it was a kind of a blessing when someone was honest, I would say. But over time, 20 years later, I'm glad I have this book. I guess time heals all wounds. Thank you for watching. I hope to make some more videos.